Welcome to the 92 Diaries, and we are your hosts. I'm Juliet.
Miss Shards.
And I'm Fee.
So, today, what we're going to be talking about is that journey when we are, post-uni or post-qualification, and we're looking to, in essence, fly the nest. When is the right time for that? I'm not really sure, to be honest. What do you guys think?
My family are very, very involved in my life, and that's not a bad thing necessarily, because my blood is thicker than water. So I know they very much care about me, and they very much want to know where I am at all times. Mom especially. Love you. If you're listening to this, don't kill me. But after I finished uni, I went back home for a year, and I worked. After our degree, you have to do a year's training, and I did mine near home. And then as I was at home, I found there were just certain things that we would clash over, we would have arguments about. And I'd come to realize, I am no longer compatible with living with my parents. The way I like to do things is different from the way they do things. And I think, if anything, after uni, it's their time to get back to them, to be together again. You've done what it is you set out to do with us. You've gotten us this far, and now it's our turn to do the same and get ourselves out there and take it from there. So obviously, after I finished my year of training, I looked to go far, and I went far. I went very, very far.
Not country guys in Wales, just saying.
But I didn't go very far on my own. I went with my brother. Shout out Niji. We lived together for over a year, and we butted heads, not gonna lie, as brother and sister do, but I wouldn't have it any other way because we don't hold grudges. He was here for me, he made my life easier, and yeah, it was calm. It's not as bad as everyone makes it seem, but now he's recently left, he's gone elsewhere, it's his time to do his thing, and it's my time to do my thing, and I am loving it. I've always said I wanted to experience what it is to tackle the world by myself, and I feel like I'm doing just that. And I feel like you're never ever going to know what you're made of until you're out there in the world by yourself, and you're paying the bills. You know what it is to grind. You know what it is to work for everything. You're really, really learning aspects of yourself you won't be able to find if you're living at home with mummy and daddy. So that's my take on it.
I would like to say that I totally agree with what you said, V. I feel like personally I became a little adult from a young age. Therefore, before going to uni, I already knew that I needed to leave the nest. I already knew all of that coming back was not an option. Not because my family would not welcome me back, they would, but just because I already knew that I had grown into an adult where I needed to do my own thing, and my own thing was not my parents' thing. I was already taking care of I knew how to take care of myself, and I was already grinding. So all those things that you said that you need to learn in terms of yourself and how to be an adult, 100%, you definitely need to learn that. And depending at what stage you learn that, will then determine the stage that you feel like you're comfortable or ready to leave the nest. Granted, there are times where other people leave the nest for different reasons, or they leave at different times for different reasons. And also, the way your family may allow you to be in the nest for longer. Then you need to be, even if you have learnt those things we've mentioned earlier. However, I solidly think there is a point where you gotta get out. You can't just be there forever. There is a supporting family. You're not paying rent to anyone else, you're not paying mortgage, you're not paying all these additional expenses that it does take to live on your own. And money is a massive thing why people stay in the nest for much longer than what society will consider as normal. A normal period. There are times that people will stay for much longer than that because of money reasons or other factors. However, I think that there is a point, and I'm going to throw out a number here. I think by the time you are 30, definitely before you are 40, your ass needs to be out of your parents' home. Okay. It's too much if you're still there by that time. You don't even have your own life. Come on. Just stop. Where does it stop? You need boundaries.
No. I think it's quite interesting that the points that you guys have put across, I guess. A lot of it seems to stem from, uni for a lot of us. And to be honest, I guess for a lot of people that's true. for a lot of people, uni is the first time that they live away from home and they begin to develop, I guess, their own sorts of characters outside from being underneath their parents' sort of role in the house. So that's the first time people have an encounter with living by their own terms, going to bed when they want, coming home when they feel like, without having to worry about their parents kind of like not navigating that space, but their parents sort of like dictating that for them. So I guess for a lot of people, coming back home post uni is either not an option for some, or becomes very difficult to the point people decide they actually need to move back out as soon as possible. And for some people, they're actually happy to stay until they either get married, they are financially stable enough to be able to purchase their own home, or etc. etc. I think what's it called? There's like a process that you need to go to be fair, before you're ready to, I guess, physically fly the nest. I think you have to mentally sort of be no longer dependent on your parents. And I think for a lot of people, they leave the house, they physically fly the nest, but mentally they're still very much dependent on their family back home to look after them.
Yeah.
So they'll leave their home, but they're still heading back every other day to get food, for company, like they don't, like, I think I've even watched videos of people who talked about leaving the house but going back home every weekend because they miss everyone or they feel lonely or so it actually takes them a while to actually make that mental transition that they've left, that they've actually flown the nest. So I think it'll in the ideal world you'd have both before you move out, but not everyone has that. Some people make that mental leap first and actually are still in the house, probably contribute to bills and stuff like that whilst they're there, but some people physically leave and they're not actually ready to yet. So there's that as well.
Absolutely, there's definitely a process. But you've got to leave at some point. There has to be a point.
But then
I feel like, to be honest, I don't want to. I'm thinking maybe because of what I'm going to be doing with myself, because I know I'm probably going to stay home until I'm actually like ready to get married. I'm going to stay home for a while, to be fair, because I don't feel like, for one thing, my parents don't put me under any pressure to leave. They're quite happy for me to stay in the home as long as I basically feel like, and I don't want to move out and rent at any time soon. So once I do qualify, because I'm studying currently, for you guys that don't know, I've got 2 years of my course left to go. When I come back, I am going to live at home for a bit and save up, and I plan to buy a house and still live in my current house, in my current family house, because I won't rent that one out. I have no intention of living in that house when I buy it, strangely enough. I'm going to rent it out and, I guess, continue to live at home, because the first house I kind of want to move into for the first time would hopefully be with my husband or like lifetime partner or whatever. Because I feel like for me it will work out better, and I don't know, maybe because I don't have that pressure to leave, I'm happy to just stay.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I think we have to look at it from two points of view. For me, like you guys know, obviously I'm not gonna be in Wales forever. I'm gonna be coming back to England. So, but one of the main factors that I had to take into consideration was, do I want to be slightly closer to my parents? Because it's one thing for me to say I'm out here and I'm doing this. I'm not gonna say I'm living my best life, because I don't really feel like that's even a thing. That's glitter. I don't believe in that. Nobody, like, you're always living your best life, but your best life doesn't necessarily mean it's always the best. Enjoy the challenges, enjoy the rough roads, because that's essentially, like, it's what makes the journey bittersweet. But back to what I was saying, when I was looking for a place to live, like, you guys know, and I made it no secret, I was thinking of coming back closer to, like, London, which is where my parents are based, because I was thinking about their well-being, and they're getting older, that, like, my mum and dad are nearing retirement age. Like, I'm gonna need to, like, look after them and check in a bit more with them, because, like, no offense, it's just them two, and if something happens to the other, would the other know what to do in certain situations? Because, like, last year my mum had a health scare, and God so good, me and my brother just happened to be home in order to catch it. Do you know what I mean? But if it was just my dad by himself, would he have known what to do? And it was those type of, like, thoughts that were niggling in the back of my mind. So it's not that I think it's just cut ties. Not cut ties. That sounds a bit cutthroat, but like just go out there and leave your parents. They've done what they need to do. No, it don't work like that, because to be fair, the roles will reverse. The same way that they nurtured you, you need to nurture them as they're getting older as well. And I think you need to take into consideration, like, you know, I don't need to be so, like, I don't need to move so far, but I need to be within a reasonable distance to look after my parents. I'm not saying that they're using walking sticks, and God willing they never will, but you know, it's just there are certain things you just want to take into consideration. You want to be able to help them, because no offense, the pension out here these days ain't that good. So yeah,
I don't feel like it's taken away from you know, leaving the nest, because I use myself as an example. I was in something similar to Fee, a little bit before Fee. So once I graduated and qualified from my degree, I moved up to Cumbria on my own. On my days.
when you say it hits you, doesn't it?
Where is Cumbria, Zoe?
Cumbria
It's near the Lake
past
District.
Scotland. It's not past Scotland, I lie. It's basically diagonal to Scotland. It's past Manchester. It's quite far north, I must admit, and off to the side. So I moved to a place called Barrow. Barrow.
Who is in Barrow to be going to?
I went. I loved it. I thought it was quite nice.
I got my people them in Barrow. Don't even get it twisted. Like, I got my people them.
People them in Barrow.
Barrow was really nice. They had a really nice escape room. Okay.
Cumbria, the lakes, and the lakes is famous for Peter Rabbit. That side, I moved up to that side, and yeah, it's a beautiful place. I must admit, it's a nice 6-hour drive up there from down here, and I moved up on my J's, and I was actually borderline buying a house about 2 weeks till completion, or even a week till completion, before my whole house deal went through. But my mum unfortunately became unwell. Now, the time I realised that I couldn't be that far was when she became unwell, and when I drove down, though I didn't take a break on coming down, I still missed her going into surgery. Now, the thought that came across my mind at that point was something similar to what Fee mentioned, you know, like, oh my God, if you're closer, what if this was it, you know? So many things run through your mind at that point. However, that didn't make me feel like I need to be right under her nose. I knew that I felt like, yeah, I need to be closer, so that if anything should happen, I need to be able to help or assist, and I don't want to miss it, and I would never, you know, forgive myself if I did. However, so I end up moving back down south, but I still live just over an hour away from her now. And to be fair, I actually see her less now than I did when I was in Cumbria, because you've got to weigh out things. The cost of living down here is much more. So I work much more than I did before when I was up there. The cost of a house is much more down here than it is up there. So again, that's another thing that takes up my time. You know, there's so many factors, and at the end of the day, what you have to, in terms of proximity, it's about how much time you can spend. You can live in the house and not be in the house.
Yeah.
You know? And I know we're talking about flying the nest, so this is slightly different, but it's things that people consider in terms of when they want to leave the nest. How close do you want to be? Because at the end of the day, you could be down the road from your mum or dad and not see them, only see them twice a year. Or you could live in the same house and only see them once a year because you're out so much, but you technically live under the same roof. Or you could be you know, an hour from them and see them every weekend. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that just because you've left the nest doesn't mean that your relationship needs to be any more watered down or less effective.
Yeah.
You still need to keep that relationship in order for you to be there when they are ill or going through something. So that shouldn't be the determinant of leaving the nest.
Yeah.
Leaving the nest is you adapting your own life, finding out the person you are, having the freedom to make the mistakes that you need to make in order to be the adult that you need to be, to take responsibilities, know what responsibilities are like. You know, having your mum or your dad to take care of the kids childcare is a bitch, but you know, you're using them as your backup every single time does not allow you to you utilize the responsibilities that you need to make, or the skills that you need to make, which is multitasking or being able to juggle certain things. Having that fallback all the time, relying on them, it doesn't give you that ability, that skill. So I think it's very important, no matter what stage you do it, it's important that you do it at some point. It gives you a life skill. Period. That's inexchangeable.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree. But yeah, no. If anything, touching on the whole relationship being watered down, like my relationship with my parents is really good. I'm going, like, I was telling them on the phone, like, oh, I'm planning to come down at some point in the next month, and my dad was like, yeah, it'll be really good to see you. I can't wait to see you, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? You've got that nice, like, I'm coming home, but I'm not gonna lie, as soon as I get there, 48 hours, we're clashing over something. It doesn't take long, and you're kind of just a bit like, maybe I should have kept my distance. But I love them; they're irreplaceable, and it is what it is. But it's just you tend to realize, and I think they get on a lot better when we're not there. Like I see how close they are now, and it's really good, even though they argue and they bicker and stuff. But they're a lot closer now, and I'm very grateful for that. And if it took me to leave the house and my brother to leave the house as well for that to happen, then by all means, it's great. But touching back on us leaving the nest as people, like, I'm not gonna lie, I was terrified to do it, and there was a point where I was considering just coming back purely on the basis of all of my friends are down there, all of my really, really close friends are down there. I say really all of my close friends, but it's really just you two. It's really just you two. And it's like, when I was living down there, like, Charles, how often did I even see you? Like, talk less of when you were in Luton, which was even closer, or like where you are now. Like, it's a bit mad. And Juliet, you gyrate all over the gaff, kind of, but like, you always come back eventually anyway. So it's like, and I had a friend of mine who said this to me. He was like, stop living your life based on how it affects others, and just live it according to what you want to do, and the rest will follow. He said, everywhere you go, you will make friends, and everywhere you go, you will meet new people. But the thing is with me is, being here where I am now, it's helped me to realize that, number one, as much as I love the laid back life out here and the fresh air and the picturesqueness of Wales, it's also made me realize there are a lot of things that I want to be into, like MMA, dance, all of that kind of stuff. So I want to now go to somewhere where I can do those things, and I know I'll meet great people. It will be an opportunity for me to network. There's also some side hustles that I want to do as well, and I feel like in an area like that, I'll be able to do it. So it's like, me coming out here, I wouldn't have been able to have found these parts of myself that I didn't even know were there, or were interested in doing things. I wouldn't have known I had the balls, and I mean that metaphorically, to stride out here and do, and like I said, I'm living my best life, but my best life is not all glitz and glamour, but I wouldn't exchange it for anything in the world. I love it, and I urge people, like, do it. Even if you do it and you go back home eventually, just do it and know you've tried and you've given it your best shot.
Can I address that saying? Sorry, can I just quickly address that saying, because I know Jules has stuff to say. The whole best life thing, like, first of all, predominantly the people who live their best life and show that they live their best life is predominantly fake. And I feel like living your best life is living your version of your best life. It does not mean that you have to travel around. It does not mean that you have to rock the best or wear designer or whatever they portray on social media. Living your best life is feeling like you are living the best version of your life, or whatever it is, whatever circumstance, whatever class or grade you are, whatever your income is, whatever. Making the most of your situation. That should and is the definition of actually living your best life, as opposed to the way everyone is portraying it. So I just really want to clarify that thing, because the whole living your best life thing and the way everyone's like portraying it, like, oh, you must be on holiday, you must be doing this. It's not about that. The second thing is, in terms of like finding yourself, I 100% agree, and I feel like you have to sometimes go way out to come back in, and don't be scared of the distance. Don't be scared of how far you need to go. And in terms of people following people, 100%, don't do things for people. Don't move to. I went to Cumbria. You came a couple of years later to Wales. We would have been right back side by side, but then I moved back to South. So do you know what I mean? Like, it didn't work out because we didn't follow each other's path.
Yeah.
But we're still united.
Yeah.
And a couple of my friends, if I stayed here in London, Jules, you went to Manchester. One of my friends went to Canberra. One of them moved to South Africa. I would have been stuck here with less income than I do right now, no offense, but because I waited for other people who were just gonna move anyway. Like that for me, I view that as the dumbest thing, not taking the opportunity because you're waiting and chilling, or because of people around you or people in which you're comfortable around. I wouldn't be half as successful or have half the opportunities that I have at the moment if I chilled and waited for my friends to not catch up, but to be in the same environment as my friends.
Yeah.
You got to take opportunities that are there for you. This is way off the whole nest thing, but I just have to stress that, bro.
I think it's interesting. I feel like it's important to think about how important it is that you do take that move out, because it does teach you a lot about yourself, and there are a lot of life skills that you do gain as a result of living away from home. Hence why I know for me, I always advocate for like young people who ask me when it comes to like starting at uni, would you move out? I'd 100% always say yes, because even learning basic skills, like for some people, cooking for yourself for the first time, paying bills for the first time, interacting with people who aren't your family for the first time in a house, like those are life skills that you need to learn regardless. And I think it's important that you do learn that at some point in your life. But at the same time, if we're going back to living your best life thing, I don't think you necessarily need to live outside of your home or family home to live your best life, to be fair, because I've seen some people who have been able to live pretty successful and happy lives without having to necessarily leave the home. And I guess in addition to that as well, I'm actually quite happy that where I currently am now and where I'm studying is quite far away, but I've actually realised living so far away has only reaffirmed to me how much I actually do want to make sure that I do spend time at home. Because for me, I feel like I guess to add a personal anecdote, I've missed out on quite a lot of like younger cousins growing up, or nieces and nephews, and it kind of just feel like it does make you think, like, you know what, if I was here, would I have seen those things anyway? But I feel like at the same time, it's really hard to even, like, my sister will be talking about certain things sometimes, and I'm like, I wouldn't know, I wasn't there. I missed a funeral because I wasn't home. And it's just like, you miss out on these key things that happen in your family's life because you are so far away. And I think that's an L that I'm going to have to take in my career anyway, I've realised. But I think living so far away has made me realise that even more. Saying that, I know in future, I know I'm not going to be staying in this country for an entire year. I'll be doing that at some point in my career as well. But I know as soon as I finish studying, I'm coming, as long as my grades are good enough, I'm coming straight back home because I want to be near my family.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, no, I agree. Like, I know Zoe made light of the whole childcare type situation, but I'm not gonna lie, I need my mama to look after my kids. I don't need no stranger looking after my kids.
The childcare thing, to be honest, I think maybe it's not something that we can talk about honestly, because I think
we don't have any kids.
Childcare is very, very, very expensive. And if you have the luxury of having a family available who can take those kids off of you, boy, a lot of people don't have that. That's a great blessing to have. And I think even speaking back on luxuries, actually, being able to even go back home is a luxury, because for a lot of families, they'll be like, you've left, coming back for what? Not even like they won't allow you to, but they'll look at you sideways like, why are you here? You've left already, why are you coming back home?
Yeah.
So the fact that I can come back home, to be honest, is a luxury, because for a lot of people, they don't have that. Some people had to leave the house at 18 because there was no more space in the house. Their family actually moved away, so if they wanted to stay in a particular city, they had to stay there on their own. Like, being able to actually go back home is a luxury in itself, to be able to live rent free, bill free, have meals ready. Like, that's a definite luxury. So to be honest, I speak from a place of privilege, and I'm like, I get to go back home. Some people don't have that at all.
So people need to recognise that as a luxury and not use it to cope their behaviour as immature, and not grow up because they are using that luxury. I think that, like, the skills that we were talking about allows you and gives you the tools to grow up and to mature. But I feel like people that, I'm not saying everybody, because some people are well educated, in terms of, not well educated, but they grow up within that environment. But I feel like a lot of people use the whole luxury of being able to stay at home as a coating, as a blanket, to not grow up and not be mature and not take responsibility for their actions and not learn those life skills, which is very crucial for an adult. As an adult that works in a public place, who works with other people, being able to interact with other people who are not going to take your shit as easily as your family will. And then wake up surprised when you get into an altercation at work because they're not your family, love. Not everyone behaves the way your family behaves. So you need to be able at some point, whether it's staying at home and growing the balls on your own, if you can do that, or actually taking the step out and being like, you know what, maybe life actually needs to teach me these lessons, as opposed to trying to acquire them on my own being in this environment. So one way or the other, I personally think for most people, leaving the nest is the best way to acquire those skills and grow up and be able to deal with different situations and difficult situations. Dealing with other people is a massive skill, and it don't come easy, but it comes through trial and error. And you don't get that much opportunity to experience that trial and error being at home. So in my conclusion is that, you know, people generally do need to leave the nest at some point. And I feel like the reason why I've capped it 30 is because at 30, you can't even attempt to claim that you're less than an adult at that. But there's no wavering. You're not a child, you're not a teenager, you're not a young adult, you're a fully blown adult at that point. And therefore society expects you to know the skills in terms of dealing with people, handling people, and being out there in the working world. And if you don't have those skills, dude, I'm sorry, you're not going to be as successful as you feel like you will be. Or you'll be successful and thoroughly hated because you'll be an ass.
I think what I would like to say to conclude, thanks, Charles, for, keeping it real. What I would like to say is just that, fair enough, I understand that not leaving the nest is for everybody, but no matter what stage you're at, whether you're just going to uni, whether you're doing an apprenticeship at the moment, or you're trying to work out what it is that you do with your life, whether that's just, even if your version of leaving the nest is just traveling the world, do it, seize life by the horns and do it. If you come back home afterwards, then that's fine. Like I said, at least you know you tried, you've done it, you've experienced it. But we just strongly urge you to do it, because you won't figure out things about yourself, and you won't find aspects of your personality that, like Charles gave, for example, dealing with people in the workplace. People like to say in hindsight what they like to do until they come across that situation. You don't know what you're gonna do. So I strongly urge you to get out there and enjoy life. Like, you're not subjected to just live in one place, in one country. I've come across people in my old workplace that just be like, no, I want to live here forever. I'm going to live here forever, and I'm completely fine with that. And I'm just looking at you like, I just don't understand. Why don't you want to get out there and see the world, see what it has to offer, see what you can do, challenge yourself, just do it. But like I said, I'm not saying that you need to leave the home forever, just do it. Whether it's in your uni, whether it's in your career, do what you think is best for you, but I think part of it will be to leave.
I think, to round off, I guess, I think it's really important that people experience what it is to live outside of your comfort zone, whether that be moving out during uni, or traveling as before, living in a different country, or even just getting a job that is as far away from home as possible. I think it's important to experience or know what it is that you need to work on by living away from home for a little while. And if you have the privilege to go back home once you realise it's not for you, then go ahead and go and take it. I think there's nothing wrong with making those mistakes, but I think it's important that people aren't too afraid to try those things, because to be honest, I didn't realise how much I wanted to be back home near my family until I moved a good couple 100 miles away. So honestly, I think do what you feel is best for you, given the time, given the resources, given the energy, and I hope whichever way you take it, or whichever way you end up traveling, or whichever place you end up staying, that you are safe, you are happy, and you're doing what is best for you. So
living your best life.
Put your mental health at the top of it.
Life, people, please, best safe life. Please don't come and kill yourself because we told you to move out. Okay?
Yeah. It's not code for do ratchetness at all.
So guys, that has been the 92 Diaries, and we are checking out now. Take care.
Bye. Oh, wait, don't forget to follow all of our social media and stuff. And like I said, like I always mention to you guys, comment below your thoughts and what you think. And if you've got any questions, we're here, you know.
Hit us up in the DM on Instagram at 92.diaries.
That sounded dirty.
Ah.
What do you mean? Bye.